Manchester United won, Sheffield United 2. We were first, they were 20th. They beat us in our own home grounds.
Ronaldo! It's one of the great Old Trafford comebacks! Astonishing!
This is what happens when you don't have a system. A system comprises of a style of play, passing patterns and tactics. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't be like that. Subscribe right now so you can see more content of this quality. This is what happens when you don't have a system. This is why we get on this manager's back for not having a system, for not having a style of play. 2.5 years at the job and we still don't know how to play football. Whenever we verse a team that gives us the ball and sits back and says break us down, we fail. We can't do it. And this was a problem from last season. From last year we had this problem. So it's 1 year later and this manager still hasn't resolved our issue. You cannot win a title by playing counter-attacking football. It will not happen. You have to learn how to break down opposition. Can you remember when Jurgen Klopp, when they went to the Champions League final and they lost the Champions League final, but when they went there, they were playing predominantly counter-attacking football. Predominantly, yes, they were better than us on the ball, but predominantly they were playing counter-attacking football and they could not break down low blocks. They had a very big difficulty in breaking down low block. Jurgen Klopp claimed the next season he rectified that and they were breaking down low blocks. They ended up winning the Champions League and then after that they won the Premier League. It's 1 year later that the manager has seen that was the issue last season. 1 year later and we still got the same issue. Why do we still have the same issue? Because he doesn't know how to coach us to break down low blocks. He doesn't know how to coach us to have a system and a style of play and passing patterns. And so just as we were giving this manager credit for taking us first in the log, now we are no longer first. Now we need to also put it on the manager. We need to be equal, we need to be just. If you're going to praise the manager for taking us to the top, you need to criticize the manager when we drop few places down the bottom. Let us be equal. And this performance was down to the manager. Carlo Ancelotti said the buck stops with the manager. He said the buck stops with the manager. Yes, we know that there were individual performances that were poor. They were poor. But however, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, let's talk about how he sets us up. He sets us up wrong. We were first on the log. We played a team that were 20th on the log. We were one of the best teams in the league. We played the worst team in the league and we played them with two holding midfielders. How do you play the worst team in the league, a team that can't score goals, a team that is 20th on the log? How do you play them with two holding midfielders? Someone please tell me. Two holding midfielders. How negative can you be? That is negative football. We are not an attacking team, guys. We are not an attacking team. We are a defensive team. The fact that our style of play, and I'm saying this because it's not a proper style of play, but the fact, or let me say our only tactic that we have is counter-attack, that should tell you that we are a negative team. Counter-attack doesn't mean that you're playing front foot football. Counter-attack doesn't mean that you are always attacking. No, counter-attack literally means that you allow the opposition to come onto you. You give the opposition the ball, you allow them to come onto you, and then when you get the ball, you attack them. That's counter-attacking. It's a negative football. We play negative football. We are a negative team. We have a negative manager that sets us up to play negative football, playing with two holding midfielders. I've seen Pep Guardiola, no matter who is he playing. He can play Liverpool, he can play Man United, he can play Chelsea, no matter who he plays. I've seen him play with one holding midfielder. When Pep Guardiola is playing the lower teams on the log, he won't even play with a holding midfielder. He puts Gundogan, who was a number 8. He plays Gundogan as their holding midfielder and he just plays with two number 10s. He plays with one holding midfielder no matter who he plays. We got a manager that's playing the worst team in the league and he's playing them with two holding midfielders. Why? Why is Paul Pogba, who is our most creative player, who is our best passer, who's got the most vision in the team, who's one of our best players, why are we making this guy play as a holding midfielder? Why? You have to ask that question. Why? For the whole game from minute 1 to minute 90, I thought that he would change it. I thought once we went 1 goal down, okay, now Ollie might make a small change and a tweak to the formation, and you will let Paul Pogba go further forward. No, from minute 1 to minute 90, we were losing in the game. Paul Pogba still stayed as a DM. Why is that? Why is that? Look at his performances this season. His best performances this season came when Ollie gave him more freedom. But Ollie restricts him. We're losing. And Ollie doesn't. And Ollie still restricts Paul Pogba to a DM role. That's how we set the team up. Then we look at his lineup. Okay, Twanzebe. Let's start at Twanzebe. You know, we were all shocked at the inclusion of Twanzebe. But right now it's clearly evident to us that Twanzebe is not ready. Not ready to play top flight football for a top club. He can play in the Premier League for a smaller club, but at a club like Manchester United, where all eyes are on you and you cannot be making mistakes, I think it's evident that he's not ready as yet. So I do expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to go into the transfer market and get a centre back, because right now we only got 3 centre backs to choose from. That's Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof and Eric Bailly. It's sad to say that Twanzebe was involved in both goals that we conceded. The second goal he could do nothing about, but the first goal he should have at least tried and won the header. But okay, that's the Twanzebe issues out the way. Then you got Alex Telles. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played Alex Telles, and the drop off from quality from Luke Shaw to Alex Telles is massive. It's massive. You saw when Luke Shaw came on in the second half, he done more than Alex Telles done in the whole game. Luke Shaw is much better than Alex Telles, much better. Defending, and it's looking like attacking as well. The only thing that Alex Telles does have that's better than Luke Shaw is the crossing. And this is my question of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer playing Alex Telles. When you play Alex Telles, who is Alex Telles crossing to? How can Alex Telles cross the ball to Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial when they are never in the box? And even if they are in the box, they're not an aerial threat. So who is he crossing to? If you play in Alex Telles, you have to be playing Edinson Cavani, because Cavani is the best in our team in heading the ball in the opposition box from an attacking phase of the game. So you have to play Alex Telles and Edinson Cavani together. The fact that he started Alex Telles, Edinson Cavani on the bench, please tell me who is Alex Telles crossing the ball to? As I said, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial are never in the box. And even if they perhaps maybe in the box for that one move, they will not get on the end of a cross because they don't have a striker's movement and they're not good in the air. So that was an incorrect decision from Ollie. Then I spoke about the midfield. One thing about the midfield is Nemanja Matic cannot continue playing for us. Nemanja Matic is old. I think he's about 33 right now, 32, 33. The fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave him a 2 or 3 year contract, that in and of itself, Ollie needs to be held accountable for. Matic can't run anymore. His legs are gone. He can't run anymore. He's completely useless in our team. Fred is much better than Matic. Matic cannot continue playing for us. Ollie should have picked this up, but we can all see from this game he can't. He doesn't have the legs anymore. I spoke about the midfield, about Paul Pogba needed to be playing further up. I spoke about that. It is funny that we were losing in the game 1-0. Paul Pogba still was still playing CDM. We were losing 2-1. Paul Pogba still played CDM. For me, I don't know what you think, but for me that's criminal. Criminal that you play 2 holding midfielders against the worst team in the league, against a small team and you the biggest team in the league. It's criminal. Be it as it may, I spoke about the midfield. We go into the attack. Okay, we go into the Bruno Fernandes at number 10. Poor game from Bruno. Bruno is not on form. Bruno's been having poor games now for the past couple weeks now. For the past weeks, probably the whole of January, Bruno Fernandes has not been performing well. Yes, he'll score a penalty. Yes, he'll score an individual goal. But he's not performing well. His overall performances are not good enough. However, I'm not saying Ollie must bench Bruno, because I understand Bruno Fernandes is one of our best players, and Bruno Fernandes is an impact player. He's an impact player in a twinkling of an eye. Bruno Fernandes can decide a game for you. So I'm not saying Bruno Fernandes must get benched, but I am saying that Bruno is not on form and he's not playing well. And this was another game that he did not play well, giving the ball away cheaply. As a number 10, he had no vision in this game. He could not break down the opposition with his passing. he was not clever enough on the ball. It was just not a good performance from Bruno as a number 10. As our most creative outlet, being a number 10, Bruno Fernandes gave us nothing. So, poor performance from Bruno. Mason Greenwood was our best attacker. When Mason Greenwood got the ball in the first half, you always thought, you know what, there's an opportunity. He should have scored. I agree with you, he should have scored. Where Bruno Fernandes played him in, he should have scored. Because we know how good Mason Greenwood is with shooting. However, he never scored, but he did look like our best attacker. He was our best attacker. The fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took him off, you have to question the manager again. But the reason Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took off Mason Greenwood is because it's easier to take off Mason Greenwood than to take off Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. When you're taking one of those guys off, the media are going to get onto you, they're going to write about you. The people are going to ask you questions. But when you take Mason Greenwood off, there's no pressure. No one's going to ask you a question because he's so young. So no one's going to ask you a question, why did you take Mason Greenwood off and how was his performance and do you think that taking him off was a wrong decision? No one will ever ask you that. But when you're taking off Marcus Rashford or Anthony Martial, they will ask you that, especially if you're taking off Rashford. So that's how Ole is. Ole plays it safe. Ole never ever takes risks. He doesn't take risks. He can talk about it, but he doesn't take it, because those of us that watch Manchester United, every game of United, every minute of every game of United, you will see that there is no risks that we take in our games. There's nothing. We played with 2 holding midfielders against Sheffield. There's no risks that we take. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even with his substitutions, he takes no risks. Taking Mason Greenwood off was the easiest thing that you can do, because you will never ever get backlash for it. He took him off even though he was our best attacker. He took him off. Then you go on to Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial, the 2 worst players on the pitch. 2 of those players, both of them needed to come off. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kept them on for 90 minutes. You explain that to me. 2 of our worst performers, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kept them on for the whole game. They should have came off before Mason Greenwood. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer never take them off. In the first half, and the closing of the first half, everyone, even on football Twitter, everyone was saying Ole has to make a substitute, a halftime substitute, because this team is flat. We showed no indication in the first half that we're going to come into the game. No indication. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out of the dressing room, no substitutions. No substitutions. And this is what I mean, he is to blame. He doesn't ever make halftime substitutions. He doesn't ever make early substitutions. He made a 64th minute substitution. 64 minutes it took him to make a substitution. When we came out for the second half, it was the exact same of how we performed in the first half. Nothing changed. And we said, Ole, make a substitute. We all said, Ole, make a substitute. He did not make a substitute. He made his first substitution at the 64th minute. You tell me. We're chasing a game. He makes a substitute in the 64th minute. He leaves Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial on, who are the worst performers on the pitch. He leaves them on. Because if you take them off, people are going to ask you questions. You know why he leaves them on? He leaves them on because he knows they can produce a few moments of brilliance. He trusts more in them than he trusts in his own ability and in his own analysis of the game to say, you know what, I trust my ability. Let me take these boys out, they're not performing, and let me put on a player who I think will deliver in this game, such as Juan Mata, such as Donny van der Beek. No, Ole doesn't do that because he doesn't know what he's watching. He doesn't know what to do. When you watch Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, no matter who is performing poorly in their team, they take them off because they don't trust in the individual, they trust in their own capabilities. Ole trusts fully in the individuals because it's individual brilliance that wins us game. And he kept Martial on the pitch, and it was Martial's error that led to the second goal. Anthony Martial lost the ball and he stood still like this. He stood still. Marcus Rashford was poor the whole game. And you have to lay this performance at the manager's feet. I'm sorry, but you have to. And I'm going to tell you right here and right now, we are not winning this league. You cannot win the league without a system. Jurgen Klopp won the league last season, clear system. Pep Guardiola won the last other 2 Premier leagues, he had a system. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got no system, relies on individual brilliance, cannot break down a low block, got no tactics. We approach every game the same way. You will never see us playing at a team and we change the way we change our approach to that team. We give a certain player a certain instruction to nullify their team or to attack their team. We never ever do that. It's the same way we set up against Sheffield, will be the same way we set up against Manchester City, and so on and so on and so on. There's no different tactical approach to games. And we will not win this league. I'm telling you here and now, we will not win this league with a manager like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.